Why not? One of the problems with police sometimes is I don't think that and I love the police, but sometimes I don't think they have the same training, right, as the military. Military is really, 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 really well trained. So, in places like New York or Chicago where you have challenges, I've said often before, privately in conversation, I don't know if I've said this on the show, I may have. We got a big library. We'll have to go back and look. But I've talked about, the training needs to be there, right, for the police, similar to what we have for the military. And we need like that military standard in a lot of cities where you have a lot of crime. And he actually said the exact same thing today. Cat Crazy, good to see you here. I'm going to get to your super chat in just a moment. Thank you. I'm going to read all the super chats before the end of this show as we wait for the shutdown to happen or not. Anyway, take a look at this. Trump is telling top brass that U.S. cities should be training grounds for military. And so you've got, of course, the New York Times, everybody's flipping out. They're freaking out because he said something to this effect. I mean, I think it goes back to kind of what I was suggesting to you guys just now, that you know what? You have an awesome military. We need our police with standards that are more akin to the military. But of course, where the New York Times goes, this is the militarization of the country. Of course, that's what they said after he just said this. Let me play you his clip so you digest it for yourself.
Very important mission. And I told Pete, we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military. Because we're going into Chicago very soon. That's a big city with an incompetent governor, stupid governor, stupid. They threw him out of his family business. He was so stupid. I know the family.
Okay. He's talking about somebody who definitely wouldn't qualify for Pete Hegseth's military standards, one Jay Pritzker. So Pritzker, his family runs the Hyatt Hotel Company, and Trump is alleging that Pritzker wasn't good enough to work in the hotel business, so they sent him into politics. And Pritzker's like, don't you come near Illinois. Don't you come near Chicago. He's like, oh, baby, we're going in. We're going in. I'm going to send the National Guard, and you can't stop me. By the way, remember that case? What was ruled? He was able to go in to California despite all the protesting from Gavin Newsom, or otherwise known, his nickname is Gavin Newscum. I think that one might stick.
He becomes governor. He's got money. Not money that he made, but he ran for governor, he won, and now he criticizes us all the time. And last week they had 11 people murdered, 44 people shot. The week before that they had 5 people murdered, 28 people shot. Every weekend they lose 5, 6. If they lose 5, they're considering it a great week. They shouldn't lose any.
No, I mean, he's right. Again, this is about standards, okay? Why have our standards been reduced to literally nothing? I mean, you gotta be kidding me. You guys can't accept that you gotta do pull-ups if you're gonna work as an FBI field agent. You guys can't accept that you can't be overweight if you're on the combat lines as a military member. Super, Cat Crazy, thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated. Didn't Hirono just admit that there is in fact a difference between men and women? That's what I was saying. Exactly. That's what they all, deep down, they know it, but they're such political animals that they are trying to seize the opportunity. And the funny thing, and this is what's sort of amazing about it, they're so dense and they're so sort of myopic that they don't actually understand that nobody agrees with them, which is why when we go back to their poll numbers and you hear the CNN guy saying they are in the toilet, they are. Because nobody agrees with anything that they're doing. And the whole country is saying, yeah, we need better. We need more. We need to be safe, for goodness sakes. Yes, we need to keep more of what we earn. We can't keep shelling it out to every Tom, Dick, Harry, and Susan that wants to come in over the border. It's not going to work. Here is, let me show you, the Chicago mayor who's trying to take a new spin, right? Like he's like, oh my gosh, Donald Trump is going to send the National Guard into Chicago. Because why? Oh, he won't comply with ICE, mind you. He won't actually comply. He said that. He's like, I don't care what the Constitution says. Brandon Johnson, he's the mayor of Chicago. Well, now he's got a new turn on it. Somehow this is all about him trumping against black people. Excuse me. Isn't it black people that are living in some of you talking about the south side of Chicago, is a very dangerous area? Wouldn't they actually benefit the most from having actual law and order? Brandon Johnson, you got to admit, you have done your city no favors, nor was that Lori Lightfoot, who came in behind you.
As you well know, the city is facing a significant budget deficit and spending hundreds of millions of dollars on migrant support. How do you justify these expenditures to taxpayer concerned about other pressing needs that you just listed right there about the concerns?
Well, we are addressing those pressing needs. And the reason why we responded to this global crisis of the migrant mission was because the federal government failed to do its part. You know, Governor Abbott spent over $220 million to ship people across America. Instead of working with Congress to actually pass substantive immigration reform policy, they wanted to create division. But we're not going to allow that to happen in the city of Chicago. Much like we fought for civil rights 60 years ago, we're going to continue to make sure that whether you are Black, brown, Asian, white, young, old, working people deserve to be prioritized. And this misnomer that there's division, you know, and consternation within communities solely based on this issue is just wrong. He's working to eliminate Black history. He is trying to eliminate Black existence from this country, but he's also attacking the LGBTQ+.
I wouldn't say he's trying to eliminate Black existence.
We're going to bring people together in this country to make sure we build the safest, most affordable big city in America.
I mean, even she was stunned at that. You heard her say, well, I don't think he's trying to get rid of Black existence. Thank you very much. Anyway, I mean, I will say this. Donald Trump has no use for any of these mayors that are allowing such horrific crime levels, because is government's job not, like, first and foremost, to protect you and your property? Like, what do we have a government for? Oh, so he can suck up all this money so somebody can get a degree in gender studies? No, that's not what we have a government for. We have a government to protect us and to protect our property. Look, go back to like libertarian ideals, right? You don't need much from the government, but you need them to be able, for goodness sakes, to keep you safe. And they can't do it. They can't do it in Chicago. They can't do it in LA. And now they want to take your money? That's what this shutdown is about. And they want to be able to put it into their pet projects for healthcare that may have nothing to do with the actual citizens that were born in America or immigrated legally to America. I have nothing against, believe me, I'm a big believer in the American dream for everyone who comes here the right way. Okay, but this is getting a little crazy. When you have numbers like what we saw over the last 4 years, I go back to the sombrero thing. I mean, that was actually pretty good, right? In addition to being quite funny, because it's all about, okay, the Democrats said, hey, you know, we just bring one, bring all, and suddenly they can start voting. We'll find a way for them to start voting. And then what do you have? You have a situation where, well, we're going to keep them dependent. It's like Venezuela. Do you know that in Venezuela, like they figure out who voted what way in your apartment building, and you actually risk losing your apartment if you don't vote for the communist dictatorship establishment. It's one of the ways that they actually manipulate the voting. Seriously. So they like give them handouts. Like, you're not going to get your food. You're not going to get your rations. I've shown the video actually on my old Fox show. I used to show you guys when we were covering Venezuela, because I'd get this video in from friends and they would literally give you a ration of food. And that's what it's about. It's about keeping people down on the farm. Okay, let them eat cake. A little here, a little there. And then we have our tippy top. And then we have the people at the bottom. And they pretend, of course, that it's all for one and one for all and that they're doing a good thing. But you know what? We all see through it